Hey y'all, welcome back to the Who's Right podcast. We're set to do another podcast today. We're going to be talking about the new acquisitions and then a little bit about what we hope continues to happen. And the winter meetings are coming up next week. But before we get started, Victor, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We're starting to make moves. I like it. We're starting to get where we need to be. And so let's talk about it.
All right, all right. So remember, guys, like, subscribe. Make sure you comment if you like what you hear. If you don't like what you hear, we're here to see who's right, right? uh, but uh, but yeah, let's start off with Severino's coming to the Mets. I remember a couple years ago. Well, not a couple years ago, a long time ago now, I guess, when the Yankees and Mets were, who was better, DeGrom or Sevy? And obviously, it turned in our favor at that time, but now DeGrom's gone, and now we got Sevy. So at the end of the day, he didn't have a great year last year. We all know that he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But 1 year deal, guess what? I'm okay with it because it's a 1 year deal. Other than that, high reward if he actually comes back to being Sebi. So, but what do you think?
Yeah, and like you said, he was being compared to DeGrom at some point, and he still has that in him. And you see this a lot of times with pitchers where they just need to change the scenery. And I feel like Severino coming over to the Mets organization might be that change of scenery that he needs. And so, like you said, he didn't have a great season last year, riddled with injury as well. But if he's one of those guys that comes in, gets us some innings in the back of our rotation, maybe even comes in as a long reliever kind of guy that we were looking for, then I'm all about this trade. I mean this deal because this is just the first piece to a plethora of deals that the Mets are going to make this offseason. And I'm okay with Luis Severino being the first piece to fall.
Yeah, absolutely. We need a whole bunch of pitchers. So the fact that it's not a big name yet doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's kind of a big name, just not a name that's doing well right now. But we need to stockpile arms. And this is, like you said, this is the first of many. We're probably gonna sign a couple of these kind of type of pitchers just to see what sticks, right? And to see what um, you know, like you said, maybe he takes over the Trevor Williams role. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. You know, we missed the Trevor Williams last year. We missed him. A lot of people didn't realize how much of a big loss that was. Even myself, I didn't think that was a big loss. But he was proven to be a big loss, and maybe Sevy takes that part. Who knows? Or he bounces back and he's as good as a number two again. We really don't know. And
Yeah.
and that being the first move, and us, a lot of people were out there upset that this was the first move. And I'm thinking to myself, we need a bunch of arms. Who cares if it's the first move?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And think about it. This guy has a high ceiling. I mean, he obviously has a very low floor as well. But if he reaches that ceiling, then could potentially have three aces on our team for the 2024 season. And that's what we look for in a playoff team is three aces that will be able to get us um, three consecutive starts looking like they can start game one. And if he pitches like he did when he was 23 years old, then he could definitely be that.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, it's 1 year,
Right.
then he's gone, you know? Yeah. So I'm not excited. I'm not upset, not disappointed. I'm just like, he's an arm. Bring him in. We'll check him out. And but yeah, the next hire. I mean, the next free agent signing was Joey Wendell, super utility player. Looks like he's going to take over the Guillorme role. I love Guillorme, but I think just like Sevi, it might be time for him to have a new change of scenery as well. And he might want to kind of make his name somewhere else because I don't think Wendell personally is better than Guillorme, especially defensively. But I don't think Guillorme. I think Guillorme was also done as being a Met because he wants to see if he can be a starter somewhere. And so I think it was one of those things where we did Guillorme a favor and we got the Wendell replacement. At the end of the day, we don't expect Wendell to play a lot, and if he does, we're in trouble anyways. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't like this pickup, to be honest, because if we I know you say that Louis um your man needed a change of scenery and he might have an opportunity to play somewhere else, but maybe he doesn't, and maybe he doesn't get picked up, and we just let go of a perfectly good player and picked up someone that is not at, he might be as good because obviously he had an all-star appearance in one of those years with the Rays, but I don't think he's going to be back to that player. And Luis Guillorme is one of those that everyone in the Mets organization loved. And he was one of those guys that put a smile on everyone's face. I remember when we went to Citi Field a couple of years ago, when he came up to the plate, everyone was cheering him on. And so for us to go and pick up a guy like Joey Wendell that has the same stat line and is a little worse defensively, I can't say I can get behind that.
Yeah. Well, he has if he had a bad year offensively, but he can actually he's a if he gets back to form a little bit, he's actually a better offensive player than Guillorme. But
Well,
again,
Guillaume had a good 2022 season, or 2020, yeah, 2022 season offensively. I think he hit close to 300 in that year. And, this year, it's not his normal expected batting average, but if he could do something similar to that, even close to, I think he batted closer to 200 this season, but I don't know. It just seems like a sidestep move, a side backwards ish type of move.
yeah, and I completely agree with that, and that's why it doesn't bother me none because I I don't expect Guillaume. Let's say we would have gotten Guillaume back, I wouldn't want him to be playing all the time, anyways. Because even if Guillaume was on the bench, I would want him on the bench. I don't want him playing the amount of games he was playing. The hope is that things happen that either Beatty or Mauricio takes the third base job, and so we have some pop at third base. With McNeil and then Lindor. At the end of the day, Guillorme wasn't going to play in the best scenario for the Mets. That's why I'm indifferent as well. Just kind of like the Sevy signing. Let's see what happens. With this one's a little bit more indifferent because I expect Joey not never, but to play very seldomly. For that piece, he's a bench piece, and so we'll see where it goes. But I love Guillorme. Guillorme. Foul. The bat catch guy. Awesome defensively, wizard. I love seeing him play defense. Him and Lindor up the middle was awesome to see. But if if Guillorme's playing, that's not a lot of offense.
Right.
so
Yeah, at the end of the
so
day, these aren't the deals that are gonna make or break the Mets. It's just, my heart got a little was a little broken for Luis Guillorme when I saw this deal. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, like you said, but um, it is what it is.
And and so I'm not too worried about it. I do love Guillaume, but the next signing we did a signing just a few hours ago. Relief arm Austin Adams. I actually don't know much about him. I know he had a horrible ERA.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think this is one of those things where Stearns is just stockpiling arms, and we'll see, because there was a a tweet by Joe DeMayo where he posted that a lot of the things might have been bad luck, of because he has a good swing and miss rate with his or not hard contact rate with his stuff. So it could have been just that year. That's why relievers from year to year are you know you never know what you're going to get, because last year he might have gotten bad luck with it. Next year with the Mets, he might have good luck with it, and we get a good year out of Adams. But I don't know much about him. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's 32. He still has some life on his career. Um, he's one of those pieces that is going to not be the first uh person that Mendoza looks to come in on those high relief games, but he might be one of those guys that if we're up by three or four um or 3 or 4 runs, that we might be comfortable putting him in the fourth, fifth inning if one of our starters doesn't go as planned. And so it's not like one of those wow, like this is a great arm to add to our bullpen type of piece, because he's kind of like a nobody. And I talked about this last time with the relievers. This is what you're gonna get in the free agents market. You're gonna get guys that no one really talks about or didn't give a chance, and guys that are kind of just coming out of slumps, maybe um, just not well known guys, and it's what's going to make up our bullpen this year, and that's how it always works. You always have these guys that come in. That's what happened with Jeff Brigham last year. He was a guy that didn't pitch as well over in I forget where he was, but he didn't pitch as well wherever he was, and he came over to the Mets and he started turning it on, and so um, this is just one of those bullpen pieces that he's not going to close for us. He's not going to even be a setup man, but he's an extra arm in our bullpen, and we need bullpen help. So I like what David Stearns is doing, though. I like that he's making all these moves early. He's getting the ball rolling. He's not waiting for these pieces to drop to go out and make the moves. He's being proactive instead of waiting back. And so that's the one thing I do like about all three of these deals, is that he's not waiting for the big fish to drop to go and get some little fish.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's I mean, that's the way to do it, because we don't want to wait around and then get desperate because everybody else was taken up. We can't be the last. Teams are making moves. Cardinals picked up 3 pitchers already. And so we can't. Like you said, we can't be waiting around um, or being upset on the guys that we get picked up, or that are being picked up right now, because guess what? That's those are arms. We need arms. We had an issue because we didn't have arms. Last year we were complaining because we didn't have arms. Now we're complaining because we didn't get the right arms. Come on. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's going on. We haven't even gotten to the winter meetings yet. That's next week. So, let's keep stockpiling arms and see what sticks, to be honest with you. And, again, like everybody else says, it's not my money, it's Uncle Steve's.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but we forgot to mention there was one more signing that the Mets made since we last talked. It's a guy that's coming up, has a famous name for himself, or a famous family name, and it's gonna probably be a while until he's in the major leagues. But I think it's worth talking about. It's but
Well, that's a good transition, but we haven't signed them yet. It's January 15th.
okay.
But yeah, in the news that we're set to sign Vladdy's little brother. And at the end of the day, we don't know about these prospects. We don't know what's going to happen. One thing that he is though, he is different from everybody else. He's a lefty. I mean, he bats lefty at least. But yeah, I'll let you talk about it a little bit more.
There's not much to talk about. He's in the Dominican League right now. He's a big guy. I think he plays first base, and he's a Guerrero, and so he is he's got a famous name, famous for power, and so that's what I think the Mets are hoping for in this in signing Miguel, is to get more power in our future. And so we don't know if he's going to turn out to be like his brother. We don't know if he's going to turn out to be like his dad. But it's cool that we're picking up all these pieces that are superstars in the major leagues. We're just picking up their little brothers.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll see if they turn out. A lot of brothers don't turn out the same. But who knows? They're different players, just like we got Luis Angel Acuna. But he's a different player from his brother. So yeah. I'm excited, because we try to get Vladdy Senior here, and so we got a Guerrero in the Mets fam right now, and let's see where that goes. But that's exciting stuff because you're right, he is a first baseman, so who knows where that goes. And I am glad he's a lefty as a first baseman, but it's good. But now into some kind of rumors. We're talking about a little bit of rumors. The Mets are interested in Erod, your boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about this guy. Eduardo Rodriguez is at the top of my list in terms of free agents out there. And so if the Mets go out and pick me up, Eduardo Rodriguez, I will be a happy man. I know that they're talking about picking him up as kind of like um, a top of the rotation kind of guy. I know I feel like it's, if we don't get Monty, if we don't get Jordan Montgomery, then we're going after Eduardo Rodriguez. And I say, uh, you know, who cares about Jordan Montgomery? He's a great pitcher and all, but the likelihood of him coming to New York is very low with his experience over in the Yankees organization. And so you have a guy that is young. He's he's got some nasty stuff, like I referenced when we played in Detroit last year. He almost no hit the Mets while we were over there. So I think, let's see, it is his ERA was at 3.3 with 152 innings pitched, which is huge. We need a guy that with longevity that can pitch for a good amount of time. And he had 143 strikeouts last year. That's pretty good. When you think of like guys that are your top level guys, your top three starters. If he's sitting at number three, we get Yoshi in these next couple of years, in the next couple of weeks. You got Yoshi, Senga, Eduardo Rodriguez, all with over 120 strikeouts in the year. That's pretty nasty stuff. And so go get me Eduardo Rodriguez, go get me Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and we're set. We have our rotation. We don't need
Yeah.
anybody else.
Well, yeah. I mean, the only thing with Eduardo, I mean, I like Eduardo too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I'd like him better than Monty, just because Monty has done it longer, more consistent. more consistent. Let me rephrase that. He's been more consistent at it, and Rodriguez has, basically had one good year. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, if we don't get Monty or if we get Eduardo, I don't think we're going after both because they're both lefties. But you know, if we end up with Erod and, yeah, like you said, Yamamoto, that's my number one. Yamamoto, Senga, either Erod or Monty, then Quintana, and then Sevi battling it out for the number five. That, yeah, I'm with you. I'm really excited about that rotation. And so um, yeah, to be honest with you, I'd rather have Monty. And this is a great time for you guys to comment and let me know what you guys think about who's right, Monty or Erod, and let us know what you think because we want to hear from you as well. Are you with Victor that you like Erod better than Monty, or do you think you're with me that you think Monty is probably a better choice than Erod? I'll let you guys decide.
Oh, by the
So,
way, Eduardo Rodriguez is Venezuelan, so you know
oh,
he could be one of those guys with Alvarez and with um,
Mendoza.
Mendoza that they just click, and so I'm just saying all the pieces seem to be lining up for us to get Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm for it. I'm not against it. So that's a thing that we'll see what happens. But I didn't even think about the Venezuelan connection, so that might be something leaning Iran's way. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I did want to ask you this: what do you think about the Soto rumors? What do you think the Mets should do?
I think they should. I said this last time. I think they should let the Yankees have him. Um, I think I've come to terms with what you said last time. He's going to free agency. If they want to trade for him now, go for it. They're not going to do any better than they have in years past. You saw what happened um when Giancarlo came over from Miami. So it doesn't really help their case, but let him go to the Yankees organization, wait for him to hit free agency, and he's that DH that we've been waiting for. And so I think we can wait another year for it.
Yeah, I mean, best scenario is that the Yankees give up prospects and then lose them in free agencies. So,
That's what I'm saying,
yeah,
because I know that San Diego wants to get him off the payroll because he's going to cost an arm and a leg to sign in free agency. We know Cashman is willing to do that, but um, we just don't know what it's going to cost to in prospects wise to get him over for just this year. And if we're looking at uh, a culture that Davis Stearns has talked about with sustained winning, then we don't want to give up an arm and a leg. We don't want to give up our top prospects to go out and get a guy that might only be with us for a year and that we can wait for next year to bid on.
yeah, and I've said it before. I don't want to give up any prospects for Soto. The only guy that I would give prospects up for, and I'll say it again, the only guy that I would trade for, that's a position player, is Luis Robert, or Luis Robert, or however you want to say it. And so, but that's the only guy that I think that
Did
is
you
worth,
hear
huh?
that Randy Arozarena might be being shopped around?
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. The only thing that would concern me there is that Luis Robert is a center fielder, and we know eventually Nimmo's not going to be in center field. And um, I like to plan for us to be moving Nimmo sooner rather than later to left, to be honest with you. And that's why I kind of like, I'd rather lean towards a Robert. I mean, I don't know if they're shopping him or not, but if there is a position and player out there, I'd love to lean that way because you know if both Beatty and Mauricio are doing well and battling it out, at the end of the day, we can move Beatty to left field, and he'll, he's an outfielder if they're doing well. But and that's a temporary fix until we actually do get that future center fielder to move Nimmo to left. Because if we trade for a Randy, he's going to be here for a while. So what does that mean for our defense in the outfield? You know what I mean? So that's my only concern. I like him as a player. I just don't see the if he's the right fit for us. Um,
Yeah,
um,
and the only reason I bring him up is because he steals bags. He's what you saw in Robert as a hitter. Obviously,
well, he steals bags too. Robert's the top of the order kind
that's
of
what I
guy.
mean. He's a very similar player offensively, and
Yeah.
so I don't see us picking him up. I think we could do without, but yeah. As far as Soto goes, let let the Yanks have him. You know, he probably wants to be in New York, so um well he likes hitting in City Field. So maybe he waits to hear David Stern's offer and waits until free agency next year, and I'm willing to wait for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other part with the whole Randy thing. Soto's going to be in the market next year. you know, and so we don't have to give up prospects. Again, giving up prospects for the only guy that I would be willing to give up prospects for is a guy like Robert. Because we could wait and 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 bid for Soto next year and not give up any prospects and put him in left field if that's the direction that the Mets want to go. If they want to have Nimmo in center field for a while, they can always go after Soto next year and put him in left field. And he's not going to be great defensively, but he's there for his bat.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah.
um,
Well, we got one more week. We got actually less than a week. And so um this these big fish are gonna fall soon. Um yeah, I don't know if Soto is getting close. I know that they just started talks, but we'll see about that. But I'm excited to see what we do in these next couple of weeks. This next week. See if we can land that big fish, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And if we don't, maybe we go out and pick up a couple of guys that will equip us to pick up a big free agent next year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the big fish is Yamamoto. That's the guy that we all um, well, this guy wants is Yamamoto. I'll be happy as a clam with everybody else that you pick up if you get Yamamoto. But at the end of the day, if we don't get Yamamoto, um, we got to be okay with that too. Because at the end of the day, he gets a choice. you know, if we give him the most, if the Mets offer the most money and he chooses somewhere else, we also can't be mad at that because that's out of the Mets' control. And so yeah, then we pivot. Then Monty comes in. Who knows? Because I don't know if you know, Monty moved to Boston, so
Yeah, he does
Boston's
want
gonna be
to help out with his wife. I
yeah,
know. So,
yeah.
and
So
he might be a lock for Boston. So,
he might be, but at the end of the day, New York's not that far away, right? So from Boston, and so I don't see us being out of the running for Monty because he's in Boston. But I do think that uh, if he feels that at the end of the day, it's going to be about who offers him the most money and where he feels like he's going to win with that combination. And if it's up in Boston, then he's gonna be up in Boston. And but the first fish got to fall first. Yamamoto's got to fall. I hear Shohei's kind of heating up, and but he's not pitching this year, so
Yeah,
I don't
Shohei's
think the
got.
Mets are in on him. To be honest with you, what do you think?
I don't think so. Yeah, I only see two teams in on him: the Angels and the Dodgers. I think he's staying in LA. And
Well, don't forget about San Francisco. The Giants want him.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I think he's staying in California. I don't think he wants to move anywhere. I think the Dodgers are probably the best team to for him to land on. But if he doesn't land on the Dodgers, we'll see if it's going to be a bidding war between um, San Francisco and the Angels. But we know that he wants to go to a winning team. The Dodgers have been that for the past couple of years, and San Francisco hasn't. And so uh, I think that's where he goes. I don't think the Mets are really even interested in someone like him. I think he costs too much, one, but I don't think that it'd be different if he was pitching. If he was gonna pitch next year, then I could say, yeah, we're gonna go after him because he fills two of our needs. But he only fills one of those, and for him to already be thinking about staying in the West Coast, then I gotta say that he's just gonna stay over there, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
and
happen every time now.
yeah, and that's a good possibility. And the Angels, I didn't think had a chance to re-sign him, but now with Ron Washington there might be a sneaky pick on him staying there, because he already knows the organization, he knows the media. I mean, he gets his way with the media in Anaheim. So and
And that's the other thing too. He's not gonna be able to get away with that in New York. And
Yeah,
so
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, I agree with you on that one that I don't think from what I'm hearing, I just don't see him as a fit in New York just because I don't think he's the type of player that will flourish in New York. Just because if unless I'm wrong, unless it's his handlers that are handling him the wrong way, and he's actually, who knows? Because I've heard that before too, that they're being overprotective over him, but who knows? But we'll see. We'll come back on Sunday to kind of prep the winter meetings and possibly talk about other things going on. And so we're going to end it there. But before we go, any last words, Victor?
no, we didn't mention all the hires that we've been doing in the front office. David Stearns is rounding out his front office for us to continue to create a winning culture, and so I'm excited to see what we do in the scouting department, in the free agent market, but also in the trade market. So it's going to be an exciting off season, and it's just getting started. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting started. This is about the time that things start heating up. But again, if you guys like the video, like, subscribe. Let me hear your comments. Who's right? Victor, me, you. Let me know your comments. I just want to know. So like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you get notified when we come on. And we'll see you on Sunday. All right. Peace.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.